The main question we need to answer today on April 7th is very simple. Is this the actual bottom, or will the market fall further the moment you decide to invest? I know many of you have been watching this 3-day green streak and wondering if the worst is over. But remember, we have to be prepared for the fact that this recent recovery could easily reverse based on what happens in Washington. But the good part is that if you are holding a significant cash position, you are actually in the strongest strategic position we have seen since 2020. You have the liquidity, but the signal to move has not yet flashed. Most people in the market are paralyzed right now because they think India is just a collateral victim of this Gulf conflict. But let me tell you, they are completely wrong. India is not a victim in this war. In fact, we are the most strategically placed observer on this planet. What we are witnessing right now is called a sovereign decoupling. This is the moment when India has successfully separated its energy security from Western interference to protect our own industrial margins. In this video, we are going to look for the hidden clues to time your investment right. There is a specific point of convergence coming up where the current risk transforms into a massive reconstruction opportunity. But until that day arrives, any major move is premature. The first clue is visible when you look at your energy logistics. While the global markets are panicking about the ghost lane and the blockade in the Gulf, India has quietly secured its own supply floor. When this unprovoked war started threatening our growth, we didn't sit around for diplomatic pleasantries. As of this week, we have doubled our intake of Russian crude and fully restored our supply link with Iran. We are not just buying oil, we are securing a crisis discount, while the rest of the world is forced to pay a war premium. This is the first big pillar of our decoupling. Think about it. Our raw material input costs are now actually lower than the very nations that are trying to enforce this oil blockade. That is a massive competitive advantage that the market has not yet fully priced in. The second clue appeared just a few days ago. On April 2nd, this is what I call a compliance check. When Donald Trump announced a 100% tariff on Indian patented drugs, most analysts immediately call this a trade war. But I think they are missing the bigger picture. It is a desperate move by Washington to use our pharma exports as a leverage to make us stop our energy surge from Russia and Iran. If you like this video, you know what to do. But if you don't know what to do, then you must hit that button. It's called subscribe. But here's the secret that the panicked sellers are overlooking. 90% of our pharmaceutical exports are generics and legally exempt from any tariff. This 100% tariff is a strategic bluff. It has bark but no real bite. Reminds you of somebody you know? It has created an artificial fall in the stock price of our pharma majors. We are simply waiting for this deadline noise to settle down so we can acquire these world-class assets at a completely wrong valuation. The third clue is not political, it is biological. We are entering the Kharif sowing season, and that is the deadline that no politician or diplomat can negotiate with. On March 10, the government took a very important step. They gave priority to gas status to our fertilizer plants. This ensures that our domestic food security remains shielded, no matter what happens with the Gulf blockade. This creates a structural floor for the entire agri-chemical sector. By the end of this month, the broader market will suddenly realize that India's food security and the profitability of the companies like Coromandel is already insulated from this war. When that realization hits, the fear premium on these stocks will start to evaporate. So now, let's come to the real question. When does all of this come together? The definitive signal, the date the war premium finally exhausts, is May 15th, 2026. And why this specific date? Because by mid-May, the domestic political pressure in the US will be too high for them to allow a $100 oil to continue. The fear of conflict will suddenly turn into economics of reconstruction. This is where you need to look at the EPC and engineering giants like L&T and Engineers India. People forget that these companies are not just sitting in India, they hold massive active contracts across the Gulf for refineries, pipelines, and gas terminal. When the kinetic war stops, these existing sites will require immediate margin repair work. We are talking about an 18-month industrial repair cycle that will be mandated by the Gulf nations to get their revenue flowing again. These companies are already on the ground and their order books will explode the moment the reconstruction phase begins. For those of you sitting on liquid capital, here is your deployment roadmap. From now until April 19th, maintain maximum liquidity. Do not be tempted by small rallies. Let the post-deadline volatility flush out the weak players. April 20 to May 14th, begin scaling into the shielded sectors, especially generic pharma and agri-chemicals. From May 15, you make the big moves. You pivot into the reconstruction alpha. You are not just buying a recovery, you are buying the only engineering workforce capable of fixing the global energy heart. So the good part to know is that India has done something remarkable here. We have secured our energy supply and our export markets at the exact same time. Today's market volatility is not a disaster. It is simply the price we are paying for our independence. You have now seen the clues. You now understand the timeline. When the media noise finally stops, the sovereign pivot will be the only logical narrative left for your portfolio. The re-entry window opens on May 15. Do not be early and do not be late. Plan your capital deployment accordingly. So thank you for tuning in, and I will see you on the other side of this convergence.